Future of the U.S. Education Department remains uncertain as we wait to see whether or not President Trump will sign an executive order to dissolve it.
While shutting the department down would require an act of Congress, there are steps that Trump can take to start the process. New York City Teachers Union President Michael Mulgrew is joining us this morning to explain what this would mean for students. So good morning to you. Thanks for joining us.
Good morning.
So let's talk about this. President Trump was supposed to sign this executive order yesterday, but the threat of dissolving this Department of Education is still on a national level. It's still looming. So what is the latest that you've gotten from your representatives in D.C.?
So what they're finding out is that this administration needs to do its homework. This requires a vote of Congress. But more importantly for us, the focus really is on protecting our students. Trying to dissolve the U.S. Department of Education, different things they've spoken about, such as, block granting Title I, eliminating IDEA, which is funding that we have for special needs students. Like, knock it off. You're really going to pick on special needs kids? Is this in your political agenda to say, oh, I'm going to threaten funding for special needs children? I mean, what does that tell you about an administration we got to relook at all our funding for special needs kids? Well, why don't you come into a classroom with the teacher and understand what the challenges that we teachers face? But they're over there saying we accept the challenge. We're not going to say we're getting rid of the challenge. I mean, it's just a sad day that's what the administration in D.C. is saying.
Yeah, and Education Secretary Linda McMahon actually supports the move. She's already prepping her staff for it, but we know that things in Washington, D.C. could take a long time, right? It could take months. But how would it impact schools across New York City if it were to go away?
Well, the United States Department of Education, just for historical purposes, was created in 1979. It was created because the federal government was, at that point in time, created the funding for students with special needs, poverty, children in poverty. There was a recognition by this country that for teachers and school systems, they're not adequately funded to deal with the challenges that come with poverty, which are immense. And in the civil rights, making sure that civil rights laws are being followed by state educational systems. These are important things that need to be done. So for us, it's like, you want to move away from this, but what are you going to do about all these important things that the federal government now does? We don't like bureaucracies. We're teachers. We always say bureaucracies are not making our lives easier in the classroom. So we're fine for, creating more efficiencies, getting rid of red tape, making it easier for school systems to do their work. But in the end, what they're proposing is just picking on kids. Okay. That's what it is.
Well, have you started any kind of contingency plan, though?
We've been planning for this since the summer. Honestly, okay. Large numbers of us have been meeting from across the country. We've talked with the attorney generals. We have many lawyers ready to move on this. So that is why they took a pause yesterday. That was clear to us that they didn't realize what they were about to get into. And they keep forgetting one thing. They might, there's an overall agenda here. They want to privatize the public school system. We know what they're about to do. They're going to do it under parents' rights or some sort of marketing campaign. But the parents, the communities of this country want their local public school. It is across this country. They want their local public school. So let's just call it what it is. They're bullies picking on children. And sometimes you got to stand up to the bully.
Speaking of local schools, let's talk about New York City schools, right? And you released new guidelines yesterday for any of the mayoral candidates who want the endorsement of the teachers union. It's a powerful union. They all want that endorsement. So you want them to spend an entire day in a New York City classroom. Have any of them stepped up to say they want to do that? And what would they be doing in the classroom?
A whole bunch have already said yes. Nobody has said no yet.
Who said yes?
I don't want to give you the complete list when it's done by the end of today. We're trying to, other people have said, just give us a day to answer. But what we want to do is, education is always something that you hear every elected official talk about. We want them to understand what it is. We want them to understand New York City is the most unique education system on the globe. There's no other school system where you have over 215 different languages, where you have over 100,000 children in temporary or, challenged housing, whatever they want to call it now. These children are homeless, where we have phenomenal things going on each and every day, but you need to understand what is happening inside of a classroom and what a teacher and a school community faces each and every day. So we're saying, come on in.
Are you
we
choosing
need you to do this for a day.
Are you choosing the schools, though, or are they choosing where they want to
Yeah,
go?
we're choosing the schools because we want to make sure they get the full exposure of what we deal with. We want to make sure they're dealing with, what people would be considered their standard school setting. We want them to understand our students who are with special needs. We want them to have exposure to our students who do not speak English or are newcomers. We want them to see the whole gambit, but we also want them to see, like, what can you do to help us with our own bureaucracy? What, not making it easier for us, making it, how do we use technology to eliminate a lot of paperwork? How do we use the view of a teacher doing the work, and what would they need? Because we really don't, our new chancellor has been digging in on this, but overall our school system over the last 20 years has been more about their bureaucracy versus supporting our schools. So we need to change.
After two things. After that, after those visits, that's when you endorse? So you're not ready to make an endorsement yet?
No, after that, this is a prerequisite.
Okay.
We still have our traditional vetting process, which is where every mayoral candidate will then sit in front of members. It'll be a private interview. A private interview with the teachers union members. Hopefully, this experience allows them to understand things at a level they have not understood before. So we believe by them doing this, it will actually help them in terms of going through this vetting process. And then we will probably do something in a public way so that all of the members see this, and then we will make our decision. Okay, and we're out of time. I got to get you real. We had the school chancellor on the other day. We asked her about absenteeism because of migrant issues and so on and so forth. Have your teachers been reporting absentee issues? Yes. We have seen it since the initial executive order where the president left out buildings of sensitivity. We also saw a spike after the mayor did not answer the question about should ICE agents be going into schools, and he remained silent. But we have actually been working very hard, getting information into parents' hands and getting information from the schools directly to the parents, allowing them to have access to all different groups who want to help them. And we've seen it coming back up, but it actually, no doubt, has caused a problem.
Okay, thank you so much for coming on the show this morning. We appreciate it.
Thank you, and have a great weekend.
You too. You too.